All right. Good to see everybody on this beautiful, beautiful day in October here. All right. All right. We're ready?
If you're ready, in 3, 2, and 1.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahern with RE/MAX Results, bringing you over 23 years experience in the Maryland and PA region. And I can also refer you to all of our referral partners all over the United States and world. Anywhere you want to buy a house, we can definitely help you out. So hope you're having a great weekend. And also, right now, we have online here at an undisclosed location, as I always like to say, from Presidential Bank Mortgage, Mr. Terry Kernan. Are you there?
I am here. How are you doing today?
All right, we're doing good. We're doing great. Beautiful, beautiful day. So I'll let you, let's get right on into it. I'm going to do the numbers real quick if that's good. And also, I better start off with this. Today is happy birthday to my mom. So up in Pittsburgh there, proud listener of our program, Terry. So my mother's birthday is this weekend. And so I want to wish her a big fun birthday. So perfect time of the year to have a birthday too. You know, mine's September, my mom's October, and you're in August. That's a good time. And so here we go. Let's get into the numbers. Terry, guess what happened this week? We finally went over the 700 mark like I thought. We have 711 homes for sale. So we are up 13 homes since last week. About 2 a day are coming on. And that's that trend, you know, we'll see how that goes, but nothing to really panic about. Here's the thing. I had a couple listings this last week, and the sellers, you know, I said, look, this isn't like, here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be buyers. There's always going to be a buyer demand. And yes, it's been a little bit less than the norm, if you will. There's no doubt. Numbers don't lie, okay? We don't go by trends are our friend, but numbers don't lie. The bottom line is it doesn't matter, Terry, how many homes really are on the market, competition, whether it's direct or indirect competition, you know, and all those kind of things like that. The bottom line is as long as you have a really good marketing plan, which we as agents most do, and as long as you price your house according to the market, you're fine. You're going to be good. You're going to get a buyer. The number one reason, and it's always going to be this way, and sellers have to accept this whether they like it or not and get unemotional very quickly, is price is the big thing. Value is everything. You can never underprice your home, but you can always overprice it, which means you're staying. You're not going anywhere. So 711. Oh, I'm going to go get me a Slurpee today. We're at 711 homes. Go down to 711. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? All right. So what are your thoughts on inventories? Are you surprised at all?
No, I'm not. And the reason, you know, and we keep saying it, is people are waiting. It's fall. Fall is generally our slowest part of the year, but fall is also usually when rates are lowest, right? So what are we looking at is the demand is low. The deeper we get into the fall, start heading towards winter, demand is going to slow down. But people are going to start putting their houses on the market. So I am not surprised that we're over 700. I'm actually very happy that we're over 700 because it's going to bring more people into the market, is my belief.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, and it's good for sellers. I mean, buyers, like you said, is a general thing that they got more to select from. And I definitely have some buyers I'm working with now, and they're happier than last year, 18 months ago, when we had 400 homes for sale rather than 700 or 800, right? So there's no doubt. All right, coming soon, 56. That number will continue to die down just a little bit. I think we'll get into 40s maybe for a little while there, but we'll see. Resales, all resales, 564. Median days on the market, 36. Average time, 55. That went up. Y'all, that went up just a little bit. We were hovering right around 50. We're at 55 days on the market. Median price, $513, average $567. New construction, 147. So we finally broke out of that 110, 120. We're now at 147 new construction builds. Single family homes, 88 of those. Median price, $741. Average price, $862. There are 46 townhouse type condos and all of them for sale. 502 median, 530 average price. So that's crept up a tiny bit again. Under contracts, 381. Resales, 285. Median time on the market, 22 days. Average 45 for those under contract. 480 median price and 557 average. 96 new homes under construction going at it. And then sold last 30 days, 311. New sale, resale home is 286 and 19 median days, 31 average on the market, 450 price and a 506 average. And then 25 brand new builds that we've seen sell in the last month. So we're just shy of one a day, and 11 single family homes at a 792 average price. That's a little bit lower. And we know all those incentives and everything these builders are giving away right now like crazy. We've never seen before in a long time. And then 490 is the median, and 492 average price for 13 townhouses. And the big number is the 98.2% list value ratio. So, all right, Terry, thoughts on all that?
Well, let's take a look at a couple things. One is sold in the past 30 days over 300. We've been riding under 300. That number's going up a little bit. So that kind of gives me an indication of what's going on in the market 30 days ago, right? And so I think that number will possibly go down over the next couple of months. And I think the sold to list price, which is the number that I always take a look at, 98.2%, that's gone down a little percent. Let's remind everybody what that is. That means that the houses that have gone under contract, they went under contract at 98.2% of what the list price was, not when it was originally listed, but when it was listed when the contract was offered. So what does that mean is that it's not totally a seller's market. Remember when we had people lining up for homes? That number was at 101. 101.2. So we are definitely looking at more inventory. So it's not a seller's market by any means right now. And it's kind of pendulum is kind of shifting to the center, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Definitely. All right. Let's get right on into it. Terry, one of the things I'm helping, I don't share this a whole bunch with real estate, but I think this is really, really important today. For two big reasons. The first thing, the subject matter is going to be renting a property. This is not for the weak at heart. It's kind of like buying in a little bit of a way. I mean, it's kind of like that. But before somebody goes and signs off on a lease and rents, because we know that you're paying the landlord and they're the ones that are getting the income, the write-offs, the appreciation, and they're benefiting and all those things of having that property and such like that. So renting is not such a terrible thing. Sometimes it can be a good thing. But Terry, we know there are times, the big misnomer is people would think that, I can't afford to buy a house. I can't afford. But boy, oh boy, I'll go out and pay $2,500 for a townhouse for renting. And all of a sudden, they don't know what they don't know till they know, like you've said. So before they do that, and it depends on people's life goals. There are some people, they just want to rent for a year to get to know an area. Maybe I have a family now moving in the area from out of state, and no problem. They want to rent. They want to get to know the area. Sometimes that's a really good thing. But if you're not moving in the area, or you're not just wanting to get out of a house and get to something, and there can be a lot of situations that cause rentals, which is fine, like I said. But before you do anything, if you are even thinking and considering of buying at some different point, whether it is in a year after renting or 2 years or whatever it is, I would highly consider to make sure that you have Terry look at everything top to bottom with your credit and your income, the loan ratios and purchasing power and affordability and everything, so that you are in a great position even if you do rent. But there are always those times, Terry, where somebody, I'm sure, is so thankful of this message and reminder because they go ahead and they call you and they touch base with everything and they go top to bottom to figure out where their position is with affordability, and all of a sudden they realize, are you kidding me? I didn't know I could buy. So talk about that. What are situations that you've dealt with, and how would you best help someone who is considering looking to buy? How does that work?
Well, let's talk about a couple things. Number one is, for the last 8.5 years, you and I have been doing the show. And I've said it a million times on the show, is don't always believe what you think when it comes to buying a house. And the number one reason people rent, in my opinion, is because they don't think that they can buy, right? I can't buy because I need at least 20% down. Wrong. I can't buy because I have bad credit. Wrong. I can't buy because I had a bankruptcy 3 years ago. Wrong. I can't buy because I had a foreclosure 4 years ago. Wrong. All those things that people think is the reason they can't buy a home usually aren't real reasons that they can't buy a home. So most people will rent because they don't think that they can buy. But let's talk about the difference between buying and renting and what it means to a borrower. Number one, the average renter's net worth is about $11,000. Think about that. The average homeowner's net worth is about $189,000. Okay? What's the difference? The difference is the equity in their home. Okay? So that makes a huge difference. Let's talk about the difference between renting and buying. I'm going to try to cover this as simple as possible. It can get confusing, but this is what I believe is the simplest way to explain the benefit of buying over renting. Uncle Sam looks at everybody the same. Uncle Sam taxes everybody the same. Uncle Sam says, okay, if you make $80,000, I'm going to tax you 22% of your income. So that means, on average, you're going to be basically charged $80,000 times 22% is basically $17,600 Uncle Sam is going to take out of your pocket at the end of the year. If you buy a home, there's two things that are tax deductible. Number one, the taxes that you pay on your home, and number two, the interest that you pay on your home. So I did up a little sample, and I took a little single-family home in Frederick, sales price $330,000, outside of the city, lower taxes. But let's take a look at renting that home versus owning it. If you bought that home, the mortgage payment with 3% down would be a little over $2,600. If you rented that home, you would probably pay somewhere in the $2,300, $2,400, $2,500 range. So is it more expensive to buy that home than to rent? And the answer is, on the outside, yes. But I'm going to show you what makes the difference is. If you buy that home at $2,600 a month, and you could have rented it for, let's say, $2,200 a month, what you're not taking into factor is the two things that I just talked about. Writing off your interest and writing off your taxes. Now, on that house, taxes are going to run about $3,600 a year. Buying that house, the interest on that property is going to be about, I just had it here. It's going to be about $21,000 a year. So if you take $21,000 for interest, $3,600 for taxes, you have $24,600. It is a tax write-off. Great. What does that mean to me, Terry? That means that $80,000 that I make, and Uncle Sam charges me 22% of that $80,000, Uncle Sam is now going to say, you get to write off the interest and the taxes of $24,600, so I'm only going to tax you based on income of $65,400. You say, wow, that's a big difference. How much of a difference is that? If you take 22% of 80,000, it's 17,600. That $24,600 write-off, 22% of that is $5,400. So technically, there's going to be $5,400 more in your pocket every year if you bought that house rather than rented it. So if you take $5,400, that comes out to $450 a month. So a $2,600 rental or mortgage payment really equates to about a $2,150 rent payment.
There you go. All right.
Question is it more expensive to rent or to buy that property? It's more expensive to rent that property.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is right there. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you for that's perfect. Breaking it down like that, that definitely puts it right into perspective of what most people can't figure out without a little bit of help, because it's a, like you said, it's weird calculations and all that in some regards. We don't do them every day, but once you sit down with you, bingo, there it is. And so that's the thing that someone that out there I know is listening, that's on that fence. Like, what do we do? How do we know? How do we know? This is it. This is all we do, is to be able to educate, give the ideas and information and numbers, and then you make an informed decision. And so even if someone hears that though, Terry, at least they know, even if they decide to rent, at least they know what position they're in. And that's the most important thing. And the other big position is the surprises. And I'm sure you've had plenty of those, where somebody is wanting to buy and they wait, they go rent, they don't do anything with you or a lender. And then all of a sudden, bingo, or they go online and it doesn't tell them the full story of everything. It just gives them, I'm just looking for the lowest interest rate and all that stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they find out when it's late in the game that they're in trouble. They've got something delinquent. They got a medical bill that's been outstanding for years and years. And they don't know who's the collection thing. I never got notice. I didn't know about that. And all of a sudden, these little stupid, crazy things that are causing them to not be able to get a loan in the moment that need to be cleared up. And so that's never fun. As agents, we definitely don't like that either. We don't like those kind of surprises. And it's like, get your stuff together. Let's go, trying to help you here. So, all right. Very good. Thank you for explaining that. And now let's talk about from the renting a place. A lot of people out there, Terry, they don't even know we as agents, most of us, not everybody. There's some real estate agents, they don't mess with rentals at all. They don't put them on the market to rent and find a qualified tenant in the whole 9 yards and help the landlord. And there are other agents, they will not even mess with somebody that wants to rent. They're just like, it's not worth my time. It's a lot of work. It's no money, it's just a hassle, or who knows? It could be a gazillion ideas and reasons. But I believe in serving everybody as best we possibly can to help them with everything about homeownership, which leads me to finding that dream home sweet home rental. I think everything is a home sweet home. And here's the thing, when you start the process, it is pretty daunting, especially for somebody that's never rented before. But even if you have, the rules and the craziness just keeps getting crazier, in my opinion. All right, Terry, here's what happens. First thing is this: where do most people go to find a house to rent? Where do they go? Where do they go? The truth is, most do not come to an agent. Terry, where do you think most go to?
Zillow or somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, they're going like Zillow. Zillow likes to play around with these things called Zillow estimates and Zestimates and this and that and all their stuff. They're on the internet and people are searching for houses for rent. They can go to rent.com. I mean, there's a gazillion of them. You just Google it and play with it and all that. But the fun ones, I'll tell you the fun ones, all right? You ready? The fun ones, Terry, is the old Craigslist. How many of y'all remember Craigslist? Is that still around? Of course it's still around. Oh, yeah, the new and improved Craigslist is the Facebook Marketplace. So I got a lot of people, they like to go playing around on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and all these places to find a rental. And here's the deal. You ready? I hope you're sitting down out there. If you're listening, don't wreck your car when I tell you this. 50% of all the properties on the internet, not on our MLS system, which is the multiple list service that we as agents have and control and all that. 50% of all of them, whether it's newspaper ads or print ads or internet or this or that, it could be anywhere. 50% of all properties, they're scams. I said it. There it is. Literally up to 50% are all scams. The person advertising the property is not even the owner or a management company or an agent like myself that is trying to rent a property out. These people are out there scamming people left and right because they know 9 out of 10 people going to do a rental do not have a real estate agent representing and helping them. You don't even think we can do it. You don't think we can be part of it. You just think we sell and buy homes. Yeah. So what are your 50% are scams? What are your thoughts about that? Did you ever think of that?
Well, I've heard people say, yeah, I looked at this and the people wanted me to give them a deposit and they wanted it, wired into my account. And they said, yeah, it was a scam. But I didn't think that there was like 50% out there. But come to think of it, most people I talk to that are out, that are looking to rent, they do have a situation where they do run into a scam. So yeah, I believe you're 100% right on that.
Yeah, I was helping a friend here, trying to get a rental here not too crazy long ago, Terry. And of course, they're on that Facebook marketplace and other places and everything. I said, great. Number one, here's the big flag to me. It didn't even show up in the MLS. Woo, it's not our MLS. Okay, no problem. That doesn't have to be on the MLS. But there's no agent, there's nobody. It's just a person trying to rent the place, which they do. So all of a sudden, I get involved. Number one, here's the whole scam things about how this is. They're there for one reason, is to trick you into sending over your very personal information, namely your name, your address, your birthday, your social security number, everything that would be on an application. They want to get their hands on that. Why? They sell it on the black market and make tons of money, and then you get scammed even more. The other big thing is this. They want the deposit. The best is if they can get your information, and then the better is if they can get you to get the deposit. And you're like, well, how can that happen? Here's what's happening. It's not just the deposit, but it's also like a rental application fee. There are sites online that people can register, believe it or not, and tie their bank account to and everything, and they can act like a landlord owner, and they can have you to go on a particular website, and you're going to put in all your information. And then you're gonna submit your $50 or whatever it is, however much it is. I've heard up to $90 or $100 per person, each person over 18 years old that's an adult. And all of a sudden you send this all over to do a rental application, only to find out it's a scam. Here's how you know it's a big scam. Number one, when we get involved, Terry, as agents, the minute we start calling and trying to get into the property to see it, to show our client the property, that's usually a big flag. They don't like agents involved. Why? They know we will probably figure this out pretty quickly in general because the public doesn't know the role that we play and how important that is. Another big thing is even if they don't rent it to you, like they're never going to rent it to you. It's not like that. But they take the properties that are for sale, especially ones that are vacant. Those are the favorites. And all of a sudden, it's like they make up the pictures and they can Photoshop them. They have all the information. They knew who the seller is or the owner. They have all the information. They already have all that documented. So the minute you as a consumer start asking questions about anything and everything, they already have all the information. That's how they can trick people so easily. But then the big trick is this. I had someone trying to rent and they kept saying to the person I know, they said to them, well, we need your application first. Then when we make sure you're qualified, then we'll show you the property. And I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. I mean, can you imagine, Terry, that somebody's not allowed to go see a house, but they have to run through the mortgage application and this and that, and they have to do everything else. They even have to send out a home inspector to inspect the house the seller wants before you come and see it as a buyer and put an offer in, right? And so these are the big red flags you really got to pay attention to. But what happened is they basically didn't want them to come to the property and everything like that. So I stepped in, got involved. I got a phone call, started to help out. Next thing I know, I was having trouble tracking down a lot of information. But once I did, and I got to the property and we went there, there was no sign in the yard. There's nothing up. There's nothing, no advertising, no nothing. Finally, the one phone number that I got a hold of, and I called the individual. And of course, as you know what happened, the individual's like, I'm not renting no property. Bingo. That's how you know. The other big scam they do is say, hey, look, they'll get back to you and they'll say, hey, look, I need to get this place rented and I have to go on business. I'm going to Europe tomorrow. I'm going to be gone for a while. The first person that meets me down at the, wherever, gas station or this place or that place, they're going to take your deposit. You got to bring cash or, cashier's check made out to me or whatever it is. And but normally it's cash or, like you said, wire money, wire funds. Here's my Venmo, here's my Zelle or whatever. And all of a sudden, these people somehow, some way, they're getting away with it. They're collecting literally $1,000, $2,000 or more in deposits. And they're like, hey, I'll show up. I have the keys with me. I have everything. All you have to do is put the electric in your name and and you can have it. And what they really do, Terry, is this is how they get more than one person. Sometimes they'll get 3, 4 people, give them a deposit and a fake key, by the way, in their hand. They meet them in person, and the consumer doesn't even think to get license, driver, like a tag license on a car. No, nothing. Just a person they meet up with. This has happened. I've learned that this is literally such a huge problem that even the law enforcement is having trouble tracking down these kind of people, because a lot of it is, as soon as you wire that money and everything, they close those accounts, they get rid of them. This happens, that changes, whatever. And so you want to make sure that you're not ever meeting somebody, because they'll say the rent normally would be, let's say, Terry, $2,500 a month, and they'll put it like $1,800. Well, that attracts everybody. It's like too good to be true. And then all of a sudden, people get desperate and they're like, yeah, this is great. I got a rental finally, and they're going to rent to me really dirt cheap. All I have to do is go meet them at a public place and hand them money, and I get the key. And then they go to the place, the address, and there's either somebody living there already, and they're like, we ain't renting a place, we live here. Or there's another tenant there, I've heard of that. Or it is vacant, and the key doesn't work, and now they're like, uh-oh, I got scammed. So this is really a big, big problem. We only have a minute left in the program, but I'm going to talk next time about qualifying. Oh my goodness, pets involved, what happens, and compensations and everything. But Terry, what are your thoughts on the big thing I wanted to really get out there first and foremost was that 50% of these are scams? What do you think?
Well, now that you said it, I believe it. And I'm thinking back, I had some customers recently relocate to Virginia Beach, and instead of buying, they said, we're going to rent. We want to find a neighborhood. We want to find a house. We don't want to be rushed into anything. And I remember talking to them and saying, yeah, we've run into a lot of scams. So that 50%, and they were looking on Facebook Marketplace, and they were running into those scams. So they are real. But the big question is does it cost anybody to work with a real estate agent to make sure that they're not scammed?
Yeah, so there you go. All right, as we finish up the program, one shout out I'm going to give, besides Connie Phillips Insurance here in Frederick, make sure you give her a call, because she can get you renter insurance and anything else at 301-662-5717. But also, when you're thinking about the stuff I just shared, Terry, and buying and selling and everything when it comes to real estate or loans, make sure that you go to this beautiful, wonderful place and see Mr. Dave Schmidt at WAGS. The place, go get you a great drink and a burger. Go 8 steps below, as they used to say, the competition. I say go down 8 steps so you can think clearly about real estate, and then give Darren and Terry a call after you hang out with Dave Schmidt over there at WAGS in downtown Frederick. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to your Frederick Real Estate Update each and every week for your dose of real estate and mortgage news. We are here each and every time to help you out, and have a great weekend. Happy buying and selling. Take care now. All right. Good to see everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy birthday, Mom. You're awesome.